Hello, hello. Welcome to
Daughters of the King.
Speaking To.
Daughters of the King.
I'm Tisha,
I'm Sherry.
and we're here.
That's what she's on you today.
I was waiting. So we're gonna continue the library discussion. That was a big deal for yeah, it's kind of a big deal. It's actually really a big deal.
It really is. We get it by worse.
Did you get it? I always have mine. But yeah, we just
She's
the
always ready.
the library books is kind of, I think we're both kind of rattled by it. Like we're just reading through the statistics and reading through um a lot of the things that are going on in our school systems, and it's kind of crazy because we're paying for this. We are
Mm-hmm.
legit paying to have our kids over sexualized, undereducated, and basically they're being set up to be abused. So um it's a really, really big deal. So she's just gonna go ahead and read the scripture.
Isaiah 54:13. It says, "All your children will be taught by the Lord, and great will be their peace." That's something. That's a promise that I'm gonna hold on to.
Yes, because at the end of the day, I started to say shalom, shalom, which means perfect peace,
Yeah,
right?
shalom is like whole peace, like wholeness of peace,
So
like
friggin' important.
perfect. Yeah.
It's so important to have peace, no matter what you do.
Mhm.
You just have to have peace. Sorry, I put the marker in a little too tight. um, yeah, we have to have perfect peace, and that is an amazing scripture. So, did you want to go ahead and pull up the statistics or the actual top? It's got
Um.
like a list of the top
So,
30s.
well, they're in the list that they have for 2023.
Hmm. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Um, they have quite a few books. It's right here. Yay! I'd have to dig. So, did you want to start at which age group?
Let's go to elementary because I think that a lot of people
Well,
are.
that's pretty. Well, for preschoolers, there are.
And she's
Oh
talking
wow!
about the LGBTQIA whatever.
Yes.
Plus, puts out every year a list of their books that they're endorsing that are probably already out there that they just think are just so wonderful. They're just wonderful books.
It's like
So,
13 books, I think. And
oh,
that's just for this year. The pronoun book, because what can be more confusing to someone 0 to 3 years old, which is what it's for, than calling a him, he, she. I don't know. That's crazy. There is, what is this? Bye bye binary.
well, and that's just trying to make sure that they're, from what I gather, that they're gender fluid, meaning that they're just they can choose not to be one or the other.
It says,
They don't have to bind to one.
yeah, it literally says a board book introducing a baby who refuses to let gender norms dictate what they like. A baby knows. I,
And then really they're doing this in the guise of
I'm
tolerance,
sorry,
right?
guys. It's not funny, but
It
I
isn't.
mean,
It's
if I don't laugh, I'll cry. I have to laugh right now because it's so absurd. Okay, we'll keep going.
this is for
I'm
babies.
looking
This
at
is
her
for
face.
babies, y'all. This is for babies. This is for babies.
This one is bedtime, not playtime. A rhyming good night story featuring two dads who must save bedtime from antics of the family dog. This
Actually sounds
one,
quite innocent.
this is called ABC Pride 2022. Celebrate the colorful and diverse world of pride with supportive language learning.
This is more important than math,
Mm-hmm.
science, English. This is the new English. This is what they learn. And this, yeah.
Tails Tutu. It's a boy um, wearing a ballerina outfit. Patience. Patches the puppy must learn patience when his moms bring home a new baby. Early elementary, 4 through 8. 4 through 8. Okay. Ages. These are ages. These are not grades. These are ages, guys. Um, if you're a kid like Gavin, when Gavin's school takes away his right to use the bathroom of his choice, he takes a stand. Um, oh boy. There is Stitch by Stitch. Learn about Clive Jones and his creation of the AIDS memorial quilts, which is another thing that we need to talk about because since all these books have hit school, and it's kind of fun because none of the media ever makes the correlation
Right.
that the
Right.
STTs are going up because the sexualization of children is going up. And what was it? Chlamydia was like over 30 something. Was it no? It was syphilis was
Syphilis.
30
Syphilis.
something percent higher. Um, that's staggering because to think about children dealing with STDs,
Before
um,
puberty. Before puberty.
that
And I think
isn't.
that's what we're missing is that these kids are before they hit puberty, they're we used to call this pedophilia. We used to call this abuse, and how we've blurred the lines and made this into something. And you can call me a bigot, you can call me intolerant, I've been called a white supremacist. I mean,
Well, that's
bring
always
it,
feeling
bring it, don't sing it, that's all I'm saying. You're a white supremacist. Am I? Okay, all right, cool. But at the end of the day, really what this is demonic, because only in the demonic realm do they sacrifice and have sex with children. Only in the Talmud, or not the Talmud, there's a satanic church, and I think it's a Talmud. I don't know. It's some crazy book to where you can have sex with a child that's under 6, and they call it holy. So you guys need to like really make the correlation. Well, not you guys. I have just made the correlation that this is demonic. We are supposed to be protecting our children, and yet no one wants to speak up and say, that's abuse. That's abuse. I don't care how you want to say it's, we're trying to be affirming and all that other stuff. It's abuse. A child cannot consent to sex. A child before the age of 18, according to the law, still cannot consent to sex. You can sugarcoat it however you want, but at the end of the day, we are normalizing these sick people who want to have sex with children. And I know this is not something that it's like a lot of people don't want to talk about it, but I mean, let's just call it for what it is. Let's call a spade a spade. You want to have sex with a kid. At the end of the day, you can go ahead and, you can't, they're trying to normalize and make this so pretty and pictures and, oh, it's so great. And, we can go get into the demonic, the demonic roots of abortion. I got to give the satanic church props, because at least they're coming out and saying what they're doing with the babies. At least they're coming out and saying, hey, we're going to use this for ritualistic practices. Whereas most of the people at Planned Parenthood and things like that, they're not telling you what they're doing with those baby parts. They're using them, they're selling them, they're again, let's just call a spade a spade. And that's why I think that a lot of the times that we think that we're trying to be tolerant and we don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. How about it hurt your feelings to find out that you can't be a boy? I wanted to be a boy. I did. But my mom loved me enough to say, sorry, you can't. Can't be a boy. You were made a girl. You can
I
try.
think that's normal that kids go through like this little stage sometimes wanting to play with things of the opposite sex. It doesn't mean that you're less of a boy or a girl. It doesn't, and there is a statistic somewhere out there that I don't have like the actual number, but it says that usually, most children grow out of it. The majority of children grow out of it if you just leave them alone, because it's like a really small phase in their life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the fact that now we're not making it a phase, we're making it something that's actually going to turn into a mental issue later and cause actual real self harm issues to them later on, mentally and physically and emotionally. And instead of just stepping back and saying like your mom and you and other parents were just like, that's not who you are. It's not how God made you. He's not dumb. He knew what he knew what he was doing when he made you who you are. And by the way, you're beautiful as who you are. Like, because you're actually kind of telling your kid no, you're not. You're really wrong. You really should be something else. In a sense, to me. Like, if you really love them, why would you tell them that there is something? Like, yeah, you're right. There definitely is. You should be something else.
Well, I
Because
think that,
what
yeah.
you are now is not cutting it. Like, that's supposed to be love? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But
No, you're right. You're right, because at the end of the day, again, if you gave birth to that child, and I'm not saying adoption is, oh, you're so terrible. A lot of times God will give you children that are just like you, stuff that you struggled with, stuff that and again, we can't compete with the social media and a lot of the things. We can gauge it, but a lot of these kids have already been exposed to this. So when you put your kids into any school setting, you've got to think your kids are there for 8 hours, 8+ hours a day. That's the influence they're going to get. That's the influence you're going to get. My brother-in-law said that his son came home and called him a crazy name, and he was like, what's the problem? Like, he literally had no clue. He was 6. He's 6. So he just called his mom or his dad a body part, and he was like, where'd you hear that? Oh, school. Right? Because you can't control what that is, what that influence is. And a lot of the times, again, we just have to call a spade, and it's demonic. Do you know what this is? This is the do as thou wilt. Do as thou wilt. That's the enemy's like, oh, do whatever you want. It's okay. You may hurt a baby or two, but that's okay. And then, a lot of these books are normalizing, oh, well, it's going to hurt the first time you have a penis in your, sorry, it's going to hurt the first time, but you'll feel better later. This is what it's talking. It's graphic. A lot of this stuff is so graphic, and they're trying to normalize something that is traumatic and something that, a rectum has never been made to be penetrated. Let's just be honest. Let's go into the DNA of it. It has not, male, female. God didn't design it that way.
I mean, this is the stuff I would go to prison for my child. I'm just being real, right? And I mean, you can come visit me. Hopefully, you come visit. No, I personally that would never happen to me, but that's what would happen. My whoever's friends would have to.
Because it's egregious. Because it's egregious.
Horrible.
It's egregious. And you know what? The crazy thing is that in prison, they have a moral code.
Isn't that crazy?
How do we not have a moral code?
They'll see, child molesters as, someone that needs to have a different justice administrated to them other than a prison sentence. And yet here we are condoning this with babies.
And that's really what it all leads to. Let's just be honest. Let's be 100% honest. All of these transgender books, all of these books that are geared towards children, they're trying to normalize and sexualize something that God designed, one, to be in the confines of a marriage, and two, to be between two consenting adults. It is not for an adult male or an adult woman to have intercourse with a child. I don't care how you think you're making them feel good and things like that. No. That is wrong, and that's all I can say is that it's wrong. And I'm grateful that I grew up in the culture that I did, because we don't see that as normal, and it should never be normalized. It should never be normalized. And I know that we're like preaching to the choir, because I'm sure you guys have kids too, and you will cut someone.
Because we would write you letters, because we would completely understand, and we'd help send whatever we needed to send to you to fight that fight, because that person should be in prison.
They should not be glorified.
And that's like me giving a really nice light version of what should happen.
And that's why I lost respect for freaking Obama. He started talking about this stuff, and I was like, oh, he's a freaking crazy. This is crazy, right? Mm-hmm. This is crazy. But this is, I think, at the higher levels, because I've heard like Chrissy Teigen. I've heard a lot of these celebrities that I thought were like, really comical and things like that. And I hear them say things, and I'm like, she's nasty. She's talking about sleeping with a baby. She's talking about eating. Like, some of the stuff that I've seen, and I'm like, this can't be real. So I go back into the Wayback Machine, just to try to understand, because I'm like, man, I thought that these people were amazing. Will Smith, you go into, you name it. LeBron James, because of course my boys like basketball, but man, he is just disgusting. Man, who's that guy? The the Aquaman. Thought he was so amazing until I saw him freaking put his hands on a baby. I mean, and like I said, it's not like I'm digging for this stuff. This is stuff that came across, and I'm like,
They just have it out there now, huh?
because
They
it
don't care
because it is. It's
no
do as
one
thou
is,
wilt.
yeah, and no one is actually saying anything. And yet it is our job to scream and
From the
fight
rooftops.
for these babies. Whether it is going to your school board, whether you do crazy things like me and just be like, I don't care, I'm not going back to the library, or and trust me, if you need help, we will find ways to get your children books. That's not a thing. It's at this point, this is the gloves are off right now. We're swinging, and we're swinging full force.
Yes.
Whether it is getting a group of moms to petition and dads, whether it's physically getting access to the school library and saying we want a list of the books that have been purchased and what is currently on the shelf, and what things do we think are appropriate or not appropriate for our children. And if you're going to have them, there should be some kind of way where our children don't have access, which is also still kind of like this other issue because children share things, right? So yeah, one parent might say, great, my kid can read this book. Well, lunchtime comes and you're not there as a parent, and they're sharing this horrible book with your child that you didn't want your child to have access to. Mm-hmm. And so there's all of these different scenarios of how your child can still get access to these things. I mean, we thought the internet was bad, but they don't have to be on the internet. That's crazy. It's already in the library where they have access, in which the school is the one giving it to them.
Facilitating it. Mm-hmm. And understanding that, we pay tax dollars. We don't get a choice. We pay these tax dollars, and the way that I feel is if I roll up in McDonald's and the girl behind the counter gives me an attitude, I'm going to snatch her up. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to snatch her up. But I'm going to calmly speak to the manager. I don't appreciate this. And if we looked at our school representatives, if we looked at our local municipality representatives like that, because I serve on the water board, and I can tell you we're elected because we set the precedents. They can't, the water authority can't, they 100% can't raise the rates. You know who comes and raise the rates? They talk to the water board, and I'm going to tell you, I don't really appreciate my other people that are on the water board, because instead of them raising it the 40 cents, they raise it $1.50, right? But that's what we're elected for. There are checks and balances, and I say that to correlate with the school district. There are checks and balances. I went to my school district and I told them, I laid it out. I actually had flyers written up and saying, we elect you. You have one employee, which is the superintendent. You need to get that check in control. This is crazy, and I went in there with shackles. I mean, I'm telling you, I went in there with vivid, I did, and sometimes I forget I'm black, man. I know, I didn't realize it, but I mean, I just didn't want to be shackled down with any more debt. My husband, I don't know if you could see, this man put shackles for every month that we that we own this stupid house. So I mean, we are 100% not trying to stay in debt or enslaved to anyone or anything, and they're not shackles. They're really white little pieces of paper. My husband doesn't have shackles. I left my shackles at the school board, and I told them they could keep it as a reminder not to shackle the taxpayers.
Yeah, I'll take those back.
Yeah. And yes, and we don't want to shackle our kids with this. This is a burden. This is a burden. What they experimented on our kids in the library that she went to, my kids were actually part of a program, and because they don't have the maturity to deal with this, they took it as a playbook. So my kids were called gay boy. My kids were called fags. Everything that they went in there to teach tolerance. Oh, we're going to teach them tolerance. And it sounded great. I'm not even going to lie. One of my twins was like, yeah, I want to sit in it. And the other one was like, no, I don't want to be a part of it. Right. And I was so stupid because I honestly believed at face value, I thought, oh my gosh, that sounds great. I don't want my kids to be abusive So let me teach them. I don't want my kids to be abusive, but let me do this. And sure enough, man, I'm telling you, one little girl was wrapped with a trash bag over her head. She had scratches on her face from trying to rip it because they gave them a playbook. They were trying to teach tolerance, but these babies don't have maturity. They don't have maturity to deal with this. This is why that you should do this in college or let the parents do it, because the only thing that this should be used for the school is to teach them math,
Reading,
English, reading, writing, arithmetic. Yes, exactly. Not this social justice stuff. And what they experimented on our kids in the library when our kids were younger, it's, you best believe it's perfected for your kids. It is, and they are separating you from your kids. And listen carefully, because they use the term your trusted adult. They never use your parent. They say your friends or a trusted adult. A trusted adult who's in that school system, who says, let me know what you want your preferred pronoun to be and what do you want me to call you in front of your parents. I've heard that twice from my kids. And I am like in my kids' grill every day trying to figure out like what's going on. So you better believe Planned Parenthood has rebranded itself, and now it's this LGBTQ class. It's called um, Making Proud Choices. This is in the high school system. Go ask, just go ask, and then understand they're gonna come back and they're gonna hit you with, "Oh, we don't want parents in there." That's what they told me with my twins. We don't want parents in there because we want them to feel safe and let them know that they
so
can
they're
have.
not safe with their parents.
What does that tell you? What does that tell you?
I mean, I think one of the things that I found kind of irritating, I'm just going to be honest, is that when we went to that book ban, it was not a book ban, but it was literally for parents to have, to be educated to know what their children were having access to, right? Mm-hmm. And most of us were homeschoolers. Where are you public school parents? When are you going to start fighting for your own children? We're out here fighting for your kids, and they're not even our kids because they matter. They matter. They matter to God. And it's not saying that there's not parents. There are some amazing parents, and they have gone out there. And yes, some of y'all are like, you're doing amazing things. But it was shocking. It was such a small group. The majority of us were homeschoolers, and it was like, where are the parents? These are your babies. Get mad. You should be infuriated right now. Personally, I mean, I would be. If, and that was just me going to a regular public library with my children that was attached to a school. And I had it I had it out, and my husband was like, "Oh, my ear." He was like,
I was out there yelling too.
you have no idea. Like, what is going on? Like, I mean, they're out there, and here's the thing: this whole thing of us not caring as believers, believers care. I've never seen a homophobic. Do you know what phobia is? And my husband makes a good point. It's a fear. When I'm afraid of roaches. I hate roaches. I see a roach and I holler, and he thinks it's horrible, and I'm screaming. I've never seen a gay person. I've had gay friends. I have never saw a gay person. It's like, ah, oh my gosh, you're gay. Ah, I need to. Never had that ever. Yeah. What I say is, how are you doing? I treat them like regular people made in the image of God. Like, this is what I'm saying. They are taking words and they're taking things and they're making it seem like we don't care and we're just these horrible people who are just wanting to ban everything, and we just have no sensitivity to who people are. When I see people who are happy. I see people who are hurt. I see people who are just trying to get back home or don't know how to get back home.
And there's a lot of my gay friends that are like, I'm not about this.
Yes, and even it's bad, right? When even some gay people are like,
no,
this is over the top, right?
Exactly. Man, our friends and our wife were like, this is sick. So
that's crazy,
there's
right?
a lot of gay people and a lot of gay marriages. Most of them are gay marriages, but they don't want this. They don't want this.
There's a lot of people who are like, this is over the top. So let's go back to this list, y'all. While we got a little bit of time left, we're almost done. Let's see what they have. Let me see. They have a couple of I don't even know what this is. A dog and boy love story? Okay, yeah, we're done.
I
Anyway,
don't even want to go into bestiality. Come on.
so we're gonna just let that go.
If you want to look at it, we are gonna we definitely will put this stuff in
I
the
did not even
description.
know it. Sorry, guys.
A lot of it, they're trying to normalize a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. So we just ask you to just step up where God is telling you to step up and step out.
Mhm.
Because if you step out and you decide I'm gonna homeschool, God's gonna meet you. It's gonna be tough, but it's not. If it were easy, everybody would do it.
He makes a way out of no way.
For real, for
Mhm.
real. So thank you for listening. Like, share, subscribe, and mom hack. I have these little coins that I got from the Dollar Tree.
Yeah, you might have
They're
to pull
just
it back.
teeny tiny
There it is.
coins. I'll try to, yeah, teeny
There.
tiny coins. And so when I think they're acting real golden, because they have this thing, well, I'm not the golden child. Well, you're the golden child today, and this they can turn it in for a candy bar in the store.
Like
They put it in their pocket, and they're like, Mom. And I'm like, okay, fine, just put it in my pocket.
I like it.
So,
It's a
mom
goal.
hack, mom hack. So,
Alright.
thank you for your time, and
Well, God, I just thank you so much for this day. I thank you for the opportunity to come, to just have this time to just speak to other believers, Lord, and maybe those who don't know you, Lord, but those who need to become aware and informed, Lord, that you would give us discernment and the courage and the boldness we need to just to fight the good battle, Father, especially for these precious gifts that you have given us, Father, because you know what, it's not even parents, everybody has a right to speak out for these precious children, Lord, because they're truly a gift from God, and you know what, they're really our future, and we want them to be well, we want them to have wholeness of being and soundness of mind. So we just ask that you would give us all the things that we need to raise them and to steer them and to raise them up in the way that they should truly go, which is your way, Father. And we just thank you for this time. In the precious name of your Son, Yeshua, Jesus, amen.
let it be done. Thank you for listening.
Bye, guys.
And we're signing out for two Daughters of the King speaking to
Daughters of the King.
blessings. Oh, shalom, shalom.